So we're working on Pontiac Sunfire. So we're retrofitting power windows. So this is the original window regulator. As you can see, it's awesome. El Manual crank. So back in the day, some of you don't even know what that is, but we retrofitted a power window regulator. So we added in the motor. So now, ta-da! Car has power windows. And these are actually OEM window regulators. So this vehicle had the option of having either power or manual. And so what we do is we order the factory power window regulator and just swap it. It bolts into all the factory locations, rivets in exactly the way as if it came from the dealer that way. Continuing with Frankie's project. What's up, Frankie? So on a lot of these classic cars, this is a 1995, so this car is almost 20 years old, right? But we added power windows and door poppers because otherwise there's no door handles. So there's no way to get in the car except electronically, right? So a lot of shops, they put in power windows by using these adapters, which is, it has a mechanism that goes around the crank and then raises and lowers the window. The problem with that is it's not very sturdy, and in Chicago it tends to break. So what we do, we order the original window regulators. It's a little bit more involved because now you have to remove the glass, you have to remove the window regulator, reinstall it, and then bolt the glass back up. But now it's as if the car came with it from the factory. We run all new wiring for it, so, and we still keep connectors, right? So it's still serviceable. So just as if it came, we added these connectors, but now it's serviceable. So if it ever goes bad, you can still pull it out, service the motor, put it back in. As far as the door popper goes, they had installed it here. They chopped all this part of the car out. We'll show you on the other door, which was completely unnecessary. And then they were grabbing the handle. And what it did is when the popper went off, it would pull the handle. Now that technically would work, but it's just not a stable solution. It doesn't last very long. Eventually it would snap, and it's just not a great way to do it. So what we do, it's again, a little bit more difficult, but longevity wise, it works much better. So we remove all the hardware except for the actual release from the inside. And then we add a door popper, and it's bolted to the car. So again, still serviceable if we ever had to get it out. We didn't cut up the door. It's a much shorter run, so it has much more impact. We'll show you in a minute. And it's just same thing, it functions a lot better. So we also, same thing, we run our own wire, and then there's a disconnect on it. So same thing, so if it ever goes bad, we can just unbolt it, unplug it, swap the motor, put it back in. Super simple, but just makes it so that it will function properly for a really long time. So obviously you can see there's no door handle, right? So all you do is push the button, door opens on its own, right? And then, so same thing, if you compare this to the other door, we haven't mounted the assembly yet, but you can see that we didn't chop up the entire door panel just to get the motor in. The motor lives in that corner. I mean, you would never even know it's there. So just to show you what this does. So I don't know if you can see it in the video, So basically what we do is there's a lever on the door handle, which is the original lever from the outside of the car, which is no longer there. So what we do is we add that solenoid, and it's bolted to that lever where that lever used to be. And when you activate it, it pulls that lever the same way as if you pulled the door handle on the outside. And so the car functions and operates exactly the way it would have factory, except we're doing it electronically as opposed to manually. A lot of your new cars, like all your new, Chevys, some of your new Lexus, they don't have mechanical anymore. Literally, it's push button. Like you press a button and it's pulling an actuator. So we're in essence doing the same thing, except on an older vehicle. And then here's that connector we spoke about. So again, this is a waterproof connector, and it's double insulated. So there's a seal on the back, seal on the front, and then this one also has seals on both ends. And so, and this will all be mounted. Right now it's just sitting in here, but again, and then also if you notice, look at the gauge. So the other thing that other shop did was they used really thin gauge. The problem with these motors is, the solenoids I should say, is they require a lot of current to work properly. If you put a really small gauge of wire, you're limiting its output and it doesn't have enough force to actually pop the door. So as far as the power windows, again, this car did not come with them. So we're adding them. So we're also adding in the window switches. Now what we're going to do, is still not done yet, but we're going to custom mount them here in the center. So now all the windows will be in the center, kind of more like a brand new car, right? So as you can see, the windows are much more fluid and they just work much better than those add-on crank style window motors. So it's just a better way of doing it and keeping and now the car is as if the car came with power windows from the factory because we're using OEM motors.